Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be going over my favorite NFL plays for Week 8 NFL Sunday, 11 games, $1 million due first on DraftKings. So if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll be going over the best spin-ups, best mid-ranges, and going over the chalk value and dart throws. As always, follow me on Twitter, HartDFS. Put up my NBA slate breakdowns. I'll have PrizePicks plays out as well. Cashed in the past 4 straight NFL showdown slates with almost a near takedown Sunday night. Only needed a few catches from Jalen Waddle, maybe 2 or 3 in that second half, and I would have had a takedown. Would have split it, but would have at least won a couple grand, I think like 5 or 6. Unfortunately, Tyreek Hill just got force-fed the ball from Tua, and Waddle got one target. I'm still mad about that, still super salty, but the streak has been alive. 4 straight showdown slates I've cashed. Another solid one here Thursday night. We'll do a quick look back. Went with Lenny, Jackson, Brady, Godwin, Suckup, and Likely. I got 107, so easily cashed. Winning lineup was 124, split a few different ways for almost nearly $200,000 up top. Likely, Jackson, Evans, Brady, Fournette, and Drake. So looking to continue that showdown streak, showdown slate win streak Sunday night. I have a video out for that. But into the slate breakdown, I'll try to keep this one pretty quick because this slate's really opening up. Everyone kind of knows where this is going. So obviously, if you look at the QB situation, Hurts and Murray are at the top. They both look fantastic. Obviously, you give the nod to Hurts just because he's on a way better team and looks a lot more solid. Has obviously huge upside, when it comes to rushing the ball, rushing touchdowns, as well as passing it. He can get you that 300-plus point bonus when it comes to passing yards on DraftKings. He can throw the passing touchdowns as well. So he looks great. Going against a bad Pittsburgh team, he's going to be super popular. Same thing with Kyler Murray. I do think his ownership is going to be a little bit lower than kind of what we expect with, not really many spin-up plays on the slate, just because people are going to look at his box score, see he's not done much, but he obviously has a ton of upside when it comes to rushing the ball, those rushing touchdowns, the 300-point plus yards, passing yards as well. D-Hop coming back is huge for him. You're going to target him a lot, so like Kyler Murray, a good amount there at 7,500. I think Dak looks great here, 6,600. It's going to be hard for me not to get back to him. I played him against, the worst defense in the league, Detroit. 12 fantasy points. He did nothing. It was terrible. But I don't mind running it back here against Chicago. I know Chicago's defense has been decent. But, number 1 scoring offense in the league last year for Dallas. Obviously, Dak is coming off of that, thumb injury. But, 6,600, great price tag. Don't mind getting a little risky on the slate. I think that's how you want to attack this quarterback situation for tomorrow's slate. Get risky. I'll go over my risky plays, but it's one of those where, there's really only 2 clear spend-ups. Everyone else is, kind of a dart throw. So don't mind getting risky in this quarterback situation heading into tomorrow. If you're playing multiple lineups, if you're playing one, I'd say maybe stick with Kyler or, Jalen Hurts, but I don't mind getting risky. I think, this is a slate where it could easily break out where, the winning lineup has a random quarterback in it, a guy who's like 5 or 6K at most. So obviously love the 2 at the top. Really think Dak, you can run it back there. Tua, going to be super popular going against the Detroit defense. As always, we want to target them. I just don't know if I can trust Tua. The price is great, but he's been so inconsistent. Looks like they're going to score like 40 points in that Pittsburgh game, and they looked terrible in the second half. So even going against Detroit's defense, I'm not sure if I can trust Tua. Hopefully I don't get burned not playing him, but yeah. I'd rather just play the pieces on this team. Kirk Cousins has upside, just hasn't really flashed it yet. So I don't mind going there, pivoting off of a chalky Tua and the guys above him. Below him, there's not much to like. Stafford looks okay. Once again, they're going against a great defense, and their offensive line has been terrible. So that kind of takes out a play for me. Carr might not have Devontae, might not have Waller. They're running the ball a ton, so it doesn't look great for him. Geno Smith going against a solid Giants defense. You can definitely take a shot there. He has upside, but might not have Tyler Lockett, might not have DK, so that kind of rules him out. Daniel Jones, going against a bad Seattle defense, but once again, it's Daniel Jones. He's not going to throw the ball a ton. If he is, he's not always super accurate. Just really hard to trust. You really need him to get that rushing upside, otherwise he's going to screw you. Jimmy going against a great Rams defense, doesn't have Debo. It just doesn't look good for him. As I said, it's pretty ugly under 6K. Okay, take a shot on Goff, but once again, Goff is super inconsistent, kind of like Tua. Andy Dalton starting, that's pretty gross. Had a great game, but still had 3 interceptions that got returned for touchdowns. Mariota, I'd say he's my favorite play under 6K right now. Has the passing ability, not going to get you, 300 passing yards, but can still get you passing touchdowns, running the ball 6+ times a game, can have great games running the ball, rushing touchdowns. Just a very, very, Walmart brand version of Jalen Hurts. But I don't mind it there, 5,400 going against, an okay Carolina defense. Big news is Matt Ryan is obviously out. So that means Sam Ehlinger is going to start, or I guess he's out / benched. So Sam Ehlinger is going to start 4,000 going against a Washington team. I don't hate it. Going to get some ownership because he's 4,000. Maybe he comes in and slings the ball. Who knows? Maybe they rely on Jonathan Taylor more. Not sure, but 4,000 is super, super cheap for Sam Ehlinger. Going against, a decent matchup against Washington. Not the best defense, not the worst. So I don't mind going there. And then Tannehill's questionable. If he can't go, definitely look to a guy called Malik Willis, as I'm sure most of you know. 5,000, huge upside when it comes to rushing the ball. Pretty solid passer as well. I'd say he's the best passer / rusher. Maybe even in the league. Just, when you compare his height, obviously Lamar is probably quicker and faster, but Malik Willis is a very, very good runner, as we saw in the preseason. I'd say he's a little bit better of a passer against Lamar. Obviously, he has to prove himself, but I don't mind taking the shot there. Tannehill gets ruled out. I'm sure Malik Willis will be super popular. So those are the quarterback options. If I had to lean towards someone, I'd say maybe Kyler. I don't know. Super hard right now. Still have a lot of time to decide on that. Running back situation. We got McCaffrey at the top. I don't think we have to go there yet. Did get involved. Just going against a tough Rams defense. Want to give him at least one more week before I go to Christian. Saquon and Derrick Henry. Obviously, very, very good matchups. We always want to target Seattle's defense, so it's going to be super hard not to play Saquon. But there's just, a ton of running back plays that look great going into tomorrow. So they're going to be 2 of the most popular spend-ups. I think a guy that you could really take a shot on is Jonathan Taylor. Once again, that offense is a big question mark right now. It was with Matt Ryan, now adding Sam Ehlinger, and who's never started before. Jonathan Taylor and that O-line has looked terrible. But, people are going to pay up for Saquon and Derrick Henry. They're going to pay down for all the chalk running backs. It's a chalk running back day tomorrow. So don't mind, getting very contrarian playing Jonathan Taylor 8K. We know his massive upside going against, a below average Washington defense when it comes to running ball. Don't mind that. Dalvin just not involved enough in that passing game for me. I know Jonathan Taylor really isn't, but we've seen him a little bit more involved. And maybe Sam Ehlinger dumps it off to him a little bit more. Josh Jacobs, obviously, has been fantastic past 3 games. Potentially not having Devontae and Waller, raises his stock even more. Going against, a decent run defense in the Saints. So 7,500, the price is coming up. The price is not 8K or a little bit more. But I don't mind running back there. 3 games in a row of, multiple touchdowns. Hard to trust, but who knows? Don't mind it. Kamara looks decent. I'm sure he'll be super low owned. Swift, I love me some Swift, 6,800. Doesn't really matter what the game script is. Now he does have a cuckold in the backfield with Jamal Williams when it comes to the red zone targets, or red zone touches. But as we saw week 1, he can still get you there. Even week 2, was still able to get you there, even with Jamal Williams eating up some of those red zone touches. So I love me some Swift. Game flow doesn't matter. Game script doesn't matter when it comes to him, whether they're up or down. Going to run him. He's going to get those pass catches out of the backfield. So really like him. Sanders going to be super low owned. Everyone's going to want to pay up, pay down for guys. So you could definitely take a shot there just on very low ownership. Kenneth Walker looks decent, looks even better. Obviously, if those 2-star wide receivers are out, or at least one of them's out, 20+ touches, not heavily involved in the passing game. So it does hurt his upside a little bit. I love me some Stevenson. Obviously, the Jets defense has been very solid. But, with Damon Harris, it's just obviously a split backfield. Stevenson's always going to get more run, especially if they're down. Almost 5 straight games of 20+ points. Now he's gotten touchdowns and, a good amount of them. But he's heavily involved in that passing game. So 6,400, like riding the hot streak there for him. Pierce looks decent, getting the touches. Almost a touchdown in the past 4 games. Involved in the passing offense, looks decent against, a solid Tennessee defense. Zeke's out. Breece Hall is obviously out. Tony Pollard, number 1 chalk play for tomorrow. 6,100 going up against the Bears. I think, it's one of those, it's almost a must play. Now, he can go out there and kind of have like a game like what he did against Detroit, but now that Zeke's, doubtful, looking like he's not going to play, expect Tony to get, at least 65 to 70% of the snaps, if not more, going against this bad Bears defense. Looks like the Cowboys are going to run it a little bit more this year. They were the number one scoring offense in the league last year. Maybe they were going to run it more. Dak's still coming back from that hand injury, so I do think we can ride Pollard. Obviously going to be probably like 40% owned. So if you want to, pivot off of that, don't mind it. But really hard not to play him in the spot. Don't think you have to go to Jameson Williams or Jamal Williams. Benjamin, second chalkiest running back on the slate. Great spot against Minnesota. We saw what he did against New Orleans. 12 touches, 92 for a touchdown. 4 out of 5 targets for 21 yards. So he's involved in both sides of the offense. Really like him. We're getting about 6,000. Mostert looks great as a nice pivot play off of those two guys, seeing 15 plus touches. Clear number one, going against a bad Detroit defense. As I said, we always want to target these guys in this range. Not for me. James Robinson, Carter are going to split carries. Najee just not going against that Philly defense. Brian Robinson, obviously running back one, not heavily involved in the passing game, so it limits his upside. Foreman going to be the third chalkiest running back, 5,300. Chuba Hubbard is out. I think that was more of like their Super Bowl, beating Tampa Bay. They just fired their coach. They're playing, Tom Brady in a team that's just been down, beaten upon. So, he's one of those more of just kind of just straight running it. Doesn't really catch too many catches. So it's hard to trust this offense. So I'd obviously get to Eno and Tony over Foreman. Obviously the ownership is going to show that, but you could definitely play him, against Atlanta. Solid spot, 5,300. And that really does it for the running back situation. Obviously, you have those three very chalky guys, and then those spin ups. I do like attacking kind of those mid range, the 6K, 6.5K area with those guys who are going to be probably low owned but have huge upside. But obviously, those other guys, it's going to be hard for us, everyone in the field not to play the spin ups or those cheap chalk guys. But I think where you can get very different and can really luck out is those guys that I mentioned, like, where do they go? Like a Swift, like a Stevenson, even like a Kamara, could you get really different with those guys? As I said, Jonathan Taylor. So don't mind getting different in the running back situation. QB room, I forgot to mention Taysom Hill, with Andy Dalton starting, Taysom Hill, as we saw, they're going to get involved in the red zone, tight end area. So he has upside when it comes to touchdown. He has upside when it comes to passing the ball. If Andy Dalton gets hurt or is doing bad, they're going to run the ball with, Taysom Hill. So Taysom Hill does have some upside here at 5,000. Another one of those quarterbacks you can easily, dart throw on. Wide receivers situation going into tomorrow. A lot of news we have to keep an eye on. So kind of hard to break it down, but obviously Kupp, Jefferson at the top. We know what we're getting from them. So we won't really have to touch on them. Devontae Adams, the first big news that we have to keep an eye on. He's questionable with the illness. If he's out, obviously that opens up room for getting to guys like Matt Collins, Hunter Renfrow, Foster Moreau if Darren Waller's out. So keep an eye on that. Tyreek Hill looks fantastic against Detroit. Tua force feeds him the ball. Still salty. But yeah, massive amount of targets going against the Detroit defense. Looks very solid there. Going to be super popular. Don't mind getting to A.J. Brown. Going to be popular just because of him being connected with Jalen Hurts as the top quarterback. So 7,700 looks great there for him. Debo's out, so Ayuk looks decent, but I love me some Hopkins, 7,400. Going to be super popular just because of the amount of targets he gets, but he looks fantastic against Minnesota. Pittman, I don't trust that price with him. CD, I love me some CD, 7,000. Dak's back. Expect him to get back on the same page together. So 7,000 versus the Bears looks great. Really like this mid-range, Brown, Waddle, look fantastic. If Brown's in, love him. Expect him to get back to the beginning of the season kind of ways for him. Love me some Waddle. The targets aren't as safe and secure as Tyreek's, but he obviously has massive upside. Fantastic wide receiver. You always want to target Detroit, so I don't mind him as a nice pivot play off of probably a super chalky Tyreek. So one of my favorite plays in the wide receivers range alongside St. Brown. Obviously, DK, Tyler, if they're both out, one of them's out. It's looking like Tyler might be good. DK's probably going to be out. So I don't mind going to Tyler, but, going against a solid Giants defense, don't think you need to force that. Smith, a nice pivot play off of the chalky A.J. Brown, has obviously a huge ceiling. Thielen, always a decent pivot play off of Justin Jefferson. Ayuk going to be popular because Debo's out. People are going to see the 11 targets past 2 games. They're not going to realize, obviously, they're down and lost to Atlanta, so they had to throw more. Same thing with Kansas City. Going up against this Rams team, the offense has been terrible, so maybe it's just a very close game. Don't know if they're going to throw the ball a ton. Maybe expect 10 targets at most for Ayuk. I don't know if you have to do that. Love me some Olave. Been fantastic. One of the best rookie wide receivers, if not the best. So 6,000 for him looks fantastic in this matchup. Love that. Under, 6K, it's just a lot of question marks, dart throws. DJ Moore is getting force-fed the ball from PJ Walker, which you do like to see, so you can definitely take a shot there going against Atlanta. Don't mind that. You can always get to Rondale Moore as a nice pivot play, but he only saw 2 targets. It looks like Kyler's going to chuck the ball to D-Hop. Don't mind Metcalf Gallup. Those Dallas guys, their targets should be going up as the season progresses. Reynolds obviously looks good if St. Brown's out. Hunter, as I mentioned, if Adams is out and Waller's out. Pickens looks solid as a nice bring back, if you're doing a Philadelphia stack. Mac Hollins, as I said, we have to wait for that. Devontae news, Paris Campbell, just 2 great games. Don't know if I could trust Sam Ehlinger, but if you're going to play Sam Ehlinger, Paris Campbell looks solid. Marquise Goodwin, probably get wide receiver 2 run if DK's out. Looks okay. Cleve Raymond, if St. Brown's out, viable. So yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of injury news that you can keep an eye out on. Obviously, the Saints wide receivers behind Olave, like Tyquan Smith, Marquez Callaway, they look okay as value plays. And then for the tight ends, obviously Kittle or Andrews and Kelsey are not on the slate, so Kittle's the number 1. Looks decent in this matchup. Getting more targets. Should see a little bit more with Debo out now. Probably running the ball more. So like Kittle. Waller, if he's in, looks okay. If he's out, forgetting to Foster Moreau. Ertz looks solid. I like me some Goddard at 5,000. He looks great. Hawkinson, if St. Brown's out, I do like going to Hawkinson at 4,900. Higbee should be seeing a normal amount of targets. Last game was more of an outlier. Love some Patty Freiermuth as a nice bring back in Philly. Love Schultz. Do think he's going to be very low owned. Saw 5 targets. His knee injury is messing with him. I do think people are going to be scared of that, so we can definitely take advantage of the low ownership there. Below that, maybe you could take a shot on a guy like, as I said, Foster Moreau. Do like him a good amount. Logan Thomas. Yeah, those are kind of the guys I'm eyeing heading into tomorrow. Maybe one of those guys, like maybe a Jelani Woods gets more run on the Colts. So you could definitely take a shot on him. I don't know what he is at, 2,500. Not seeing a ton of run. They also have Granson, Mullally, Cox, but maybe the young rookie gets more run there. And then when it comes to defenses, obviously the Cowboys and Eagles look fantastic. Don't mind the, where are they? Don't mind the Jets defense there, 2,900. Saints defense, not bad. Texans defense looks good if Tannehill gets ruled out. I like, you can run with the Commanders, going against Sam Ehlinger. Don't mind that. So there's a lot of defenses you can punt with tomorrow. Even the Lions, you can definitely get away with that. Tua does force feed the ball to wide receivers, throws bad passes, is prone to getting, sacked. So you can definitely punt play with that. So yeah, good amount of options for tomorrow. Obviously, the chalkiest plays are those, 3 running backs I mentioned. Otherwise, I think we can get really different from the field when it comes to taking the shots on those random quarterbacks and then potentially taking down the millions. If you guys like the breakdown, if you could hit the like button, do really appreciate it. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.